Today I'm going to be sharing with you a demo lesson for ELA using MyViewboard Whiteboard software to help me teach this lesson. Let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my toolbar, which is on this side of the screen, but yours may be down at the bottom or it may be on the other side. It is movable. Mine is here, and I'm going to open up the magic box, and the magic box opens up a lot of opportunities for us in this whiteboard. But the first thing I'm going to do is open up the drive icon, and since I have previously set up so my drive is connected to my viewboard whiteboard, my drive files are going to be here in these different folders. And so the first folder that I have here, because I changed the name to include a number so that that number gets moved up to the front, is this folder that I need for my lesson. And I'm going to open up the presentation with the slides that I need for today. And these are all of the slides that I could bring in from that slide deck. But for today's lesson, I don't need all of them. We're going to pretend like I've already taught the beginning of this lesson, and now we're doing the hands-on part of this with my students. So instead of taking all of the slides in, I'm just going to choose the ones that I need to bring in for today. And I'm just going to do that by checking each of the boxes. And when I'm done, I have imported, I've chosen all the pictures that I want to import, then I just do import, and it will put them all as pictures into my presentation. So the first part of the lesson that I want to include is a YouTube video. And in this YouTube video, I want it to be very interactive. I want the kids to be sharing their thoughts throughout the video. And so I want to be able to pause and annotate on that video. So to get the video in, I've already written down the name of the video that I want to show and had it prepared for my lesson. And I'm going to go back to that magic box. And I'm going to select the YouTube icon. And then down here, I can just search for the name of the video, which this video that I want is called Cloudy Lesson. It will then show me the options that I have from YouTube, and this first one is the one that I want. So when I pull it into my presentation, I can move it around however I need to. I can make it full screen if I want to make it full screen. But since I'm going to be pausing it and annotating on it, I want it to just be on the side like this. So I start the video with my students. We're watching it, and it gets to a point in the lesson that I want to have them give me their thoughts on this part of the lesson. So I'm going to tap the screen capture picture, and that puts the picture behind my video. And now I can treat this like an image, and I can move it wherever I need to move it on my screen. And I want my students to share with me their thoughts at this point in the lesson. So I'm going to get my pen tool, and I'm going to move, select the pen. And as the students are telling me their responses, I'm going to be writing it up here on the board. Then we're going to continue on with the video. They are going to continue watching it. And we get to a point where now I say, okay, now I want us to put our thoughts on this part of the video. So I'm going to take another screen capture. It's going to go behind, and so on and so on. I can continue doing this as many times as I need to. I just have to remember to tap my pen icon again so that I can continue writing on it. And I can keep that note going throughout the video. And the notes are right here, so I can reference it as we go along. They didn't disappear. So we're done with our video. We're ready to move on in our lesson. And now I have come to a chart where I want students to share their responses with me, and I am going to be writing it down as they're sharing. So again, I'm going to use my pen tool, and I'm going to write their responses right here. The nice thing is I later on will have the opportunity to save these annotations back into my drive if I want to have these saved for future reference. But as I'm writing on them, it is not doing anything to my original slide deck that's in my drive right now. So I can keep all the notes that I want on here, and it's not affecting the original copy at all. So we go together, we fill in this information. I'm still using that pen tool, writing right on here onto the screen, and we're going to continue on. So now we've come to a reading passage, and we're going to do this as a class. We're going to read this together, but I have a large group of EL students in my class this year, and I want to make sure that they're understanding the words that are coming from this passage. So I'm going to insert some images. And I'm going to do that by going back to the magic box. I'm going to choose the image icon. And in this short story, it is about a baseball and a window. And so I want to make sure that all my students understand what a baseball looks like and then also have that window for reference. So I'm going to search images, and using my keyboard, I'm going to type in baseball. And it's going to bring up a bunch of options for baseball for me, so I can press and drag that into my slide deck. Let's try it one more time. Press and drag. There it is. And this is now an image I can zoom out, zoom in, and move it wherever I need to move it. I can also choose an image of a window. So opening up my keyboard again, and I want to type in window. And now in my story, I have pictures here that I can reference as I am talking. So let's say I have this image. And now, as my students are reading, they have a very clear visual of what a baseball and a window would look like. So we've read the story together, and now we're going to work in partners or in groups, and they are going to answer this question: what do you think happened to the window? And since we've been doing all the lessons leading up to this, now they are going to be doing this work where they are going to be identifying the text evidence, the background knowledge, and then what is their inference of what they think happened to the window. So in their groups, remember this is just a picture. So I can either have them come up and write their responses right underneath it, but I'm going to actually put a table onto here for the groups to write into for their responses. So I'm going to choose the shapes icon. And when I open that again, it opens up the shapes menu. You have lots of different options here for you, but I'm going to choose this table option. And I'm going to have 6 groups that are going to be sharing their responses. So I'm going to give myself 6 boxes. And then I want those boxes to be a little bit bigger so the kids can come up and share their answers. And then now it's time for them to come up and give their responses. And we know that we want to be using random calling. So one of the other cool tools that you have in here in the magic box again is under these math tools, you have a dice. And so you're just going to press and drag, and it brings this dice into your canvas. And then I can touch the dice and then say, okay, group 1, come on up and share your responses with me. And I can keep going through. Such a fun way to do random calling and have the kids come up to the board and share their responses. So now we have come to the end of our lesson, and I had some students absent from my lesson, but I really need them to see how we set up some of the answers or notes from the video or whatever it is that I need those students that were missing to have. And so since I use Google Classroom, I'm going to save that file into my drive, and then I have that file in my drive that I can then post to Google Classroom, send out in an email, or even print it out for those kids that were absent that day. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to choose the folder icon, and then there's this box with the arrow going out of it, and that's kind of like export. I want to export this file. So we're going to choose that, and since I have my Google Drive attached to this, I can choose Drive, and then it will let me choose whatever folder I want to put this into so that I can find it later on. It also will let me choose the type of file that I want to save. So you have a couple different choices. The first one would be a PDF, which means there's no more editing happening on it. We are just saving it to be printed or to be sent out to students as reference. So I can choose PDF. I can also choose image files. And then another option is PPTX, which is PowerPoint. And I can save that as a PowerPoint right into my drive. So now they are individual slides that look very similar to what I had starting with, but now the annotations are there. Or I have this IWB file, and that would be the interactive whiteboard file. So that would mean I am finished with the lesson for today, but in the future, I'm going to want to come back and interact with this again. So I'm not finished with it. I don't want it to be a PDF. I don't want it to be done. I want to be able to open it tomorrow and still have everything that I have done so far in the whiteboard features, so I can still erase, interact, add, change from that file. So depending on where you are in your lesson, you may want to save it as different files. You also have the option to save it right here onto your view board if you want to. It would be like saving to your desktop on your laptop computer. So same thing. It is not going to save to your laptop unless you put it into your drive, and then you'll be able to access it from your laptop as well. We are so happy to help you in any way to get instructional technology working for you in your classroom. So if you would like help with finding the resources that I used in this presentation, help with the tools, help with your view board. If you are connecting your .cam or your laptop to your view board and you really want to learn how to separate those two things, the tech trainers are here. We are willing to help you. We are former teachers. We want to help you in your classroom, making your teacher experience easier, more streamlined, using technology to help make that happen. So please reach out with any questions. We are more than happy to help you, and good luck. I hope you have a great day and a great experience with MyViewboard Whiteboard.